and welcome to the Raw Review. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by another one of the Dudley Boys, Michael Sidgwick from WhatCulture, to review everything that happened on last night's episode of Minute Now Raw. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily, when we can, wrestling podcasts where we not only review Minute Now Raw, but also Friendly as SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup that we complete. The bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Sidgwick to review Raw. We are back, sort of. Wacky summer being what it is.
We're not back, really.
No, I'll be off again tomorrow. But we'll hopefully be back, I think.
I'm off on Thursday.
It's a complete lottery. But regardless, Sidge, what did you make of Raw last night?
I'm going to be... nice.
Okay.
I feel like with Hamflet not being here, we don't want to get too downbeat, so I'll try and be impartial. I will treat it like I'm a referee, okay?
Okay.
The bits of Raw that I anticipated enjoying or / were for me, I was underwhelmed by.
Okay.
The bits of Raw that decidedly aren't for me, I imagine were a huge hit for people who are inclined to enjoy that sort of thing.
I think there was one thing on this show that was...
subjectively, I didn't like it at all.
Okay. There's one thing on this show that I thought was sensational.
Yeah, we got...
I think we're going to agree on that one. And I don't know whether it's just because, and we all talk about this. We all do this, except him. Sometimes it's good to just get your head out of the wrestling space. I've been off for a few days.
He'll never do that as long as he lives.
And I just haven't watched wrestling since last Tuesday, basically. So it was kind of fun to get back into it, genuinely. And there was bits to enjoy on this show, but I can understand it was good, not great for most WWE fans, I reckon, here.
For you as well?
Yeah. I thought there was one bit which could get me in a bit of hot water, because I know people who love this, as we talked about before, really do love this, that I just thought, I really wish this wasn't happening with this story and these people, but we'll get into it.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, but there was other bits that I absolutely loved. The Dominik Mysterio basically becoming Eddie Guerrero on this show.
I mean, he's got a long way to go. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
It's very enjoyable.
He has got a long way to go. I've got an idea. Hey, I got an idea.
Go on.
Because we missed the preview yesterday, our biggest ever feature, the Raw Riddle, we've not done. How about you look up a riddle?
Good idea.
And then we will resolve it at the end of the show. SummerSlam still... The thing about Raw right now, it's only as good as the card that you're trying to build, and the card they are trying to build, that being SummerSlam. Well, I'll just say when you're hot, because that is BS.
I love the SummerSlam card.
I don't.
A huge fan. Me and Phil were talking about this on the news today. But yeah, some of the builds.
Reality will hit you hard, and then you'll say it's goated regardless. So you'll no-sell reality, as you often do.
I think I'm away that weekend. I am. So I'm going to have to delay watching SummerSlam till...
You're on his schedule, aren't you? You're on a Hamflet schedule this summer.
The Hamflet. He's doing a Hamflet.
He's doing a Hamflet. You really hammered it.
He's looked like he had a mate. I can't wait to hear about Kylie. He looked like he had an awesome time there.
God damn it.
Got 5 stars, apparently.
I'm already sick of hearing about it. And I've read 2 tweets. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Nice Kylie reference from you, though, on the Twitter.
Thank you.
But Sidge.
Hello.
It's now time at the start of the podcast. So you got a preemptive shiver there for the Raw Riddle.
Raw Riddle gives me the creeps.
Right, to tax your noggin here, Sidge. What has lots of eyes but can't see? What has lots of eyes but can't see?
Okay, I think I know this.
Okay. I'll circle back to that if I remember.
Yep.
So we start Monday Night Raw with a video package recapping everything that's gone on with Dom and Liv and Rhea, and we get that awesome shot that they've done loads now.
So awesome, innit?
I love it every time. Rhea walking through.
What's a Paul Thomas Anderson film?
Rhea making her entrance. She gets down to the ring. Mammy chants her everywhere. She says, Mammy's home. Everyone's loving it. It's been exactly 3 months since she's been in this ring, all because of one person. She's been watching Liv Morgan run around with something of hers. Not Dom. She'll handle him later. Something she never lost. The Women's World Championship. Liv thinks she took Rhea out, but all she did was piss her off. Get out of here so I can rip you apart, Rhea basically says. But instead, Dominik Mysterio comes out. He's got a black rose, Eddie Guerrero. He calls her Mamacita. But Ripley turns her back on him, and we see Liv Morgan appear on the big screen. She apologizes. She's got a bit of a raspy voice. She's had a long weekend in Mexico, and everyone knows she's a big screamer.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no. I thought it was going to be...
what did you think it was going to be?
You know, what's the famous scream?
The Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, I thought I'd... Bloody thing's playing up. I thought I got it fixed my time away, but clearly not. She says now her shoulder's fine compared to Rhea's because of...
Surprised you got the joke. The line of dialogue did not go over your head.
Well,
basically means she's enthusiastic and vocal during sexual intercourse. Performative.
She hopes Rhea realizes that she meant what she said when she wanted to take everything from her, including Dom. She didn't see what Rhea saw in him, to be perfectly honest. Then she spent time with him, looked into his eyes, kissed him, and it all became very, very real to her. More real than what you had, she says. Since Rhea's been gone, she's had Dom all to herself. So while Mammy might be home, Liv is finally on top.
Like cowgirl.
Oh, I thought you meant like champion of the division, but of course there's a double meaning there.
Yeah, there is. Double entendre.
Oui.
Sex.
Dom says, this isn't what it looks like. And Rim's like, shut up. I knew you'd be too afraid to face me, Liv, because you know that once you and I get in the ring, this tour of yours ends. I've waited 3 months for this. I can wait a little bit longer. So she challenges her to a match at SummerSlam. Liv says she always knew this was coming. She's not going to run, but she's not the same Liv that Rhea knew. She just helped Dom beat his deadbeat dad, Rey Mysterio, something that you couldn't do. And I'll beat Rhea as well. I accept. And Dom, I hope to see you there too. And she blows him a kiss. Disappears off the screen. Rhea, down the lens, says, look, I know you're still listening to this, Liv. SummerSlam, not only do I end your tour and your title reign, I'm going to end your career. Goes to leave. Dom tries to hold the ropes over her, and she just looks at him. Storms back down the ramp, and Dom tries to offer her a rose, and she just chucks it away.
I'm going to make a salient point and then a daft one. Salient point time. One of the really cool things about the push and the rise of Rhea Ripley was how they completely subverted how this used to go, in that Rhea Ripley could have very much chinned Dominik Mysterio in a fight were it to ever come to that. He was, this one-dimensional character, like a weakling, someone who would get his ass kicked. And she was like this incredibly dominant, powerful, over-skilled, cool, badass figure. The way this storyline is unfolded means she no longer occupies that role. There's a hint later in the show that she might be playing a game as well. So I will hold up my hands. This is a tentative critique of WWE Raw, as opposed to my other critiques, which are damning and very much unqualified. So I'm not sure about that. I think fans are on the hook for this regardless. Yeah. But if I'm being an analyst here, there is a risk that you lose something of what made Rhea Ripley so unbelievably over if she's then involved in a love triangle. So that's my tentative critique about how this might actually not be the best thing in the world for Rhea Ripley. Here's another critique, right? I'm almost surprised that in some way I don't like this. And on some level, I kind of do. I want to see what's coming next, right? I am a bit of a pretentious dick. I don't like to think I'm better than people for the media I consume, for the art I like or whatever. But, I feel like I've got tastes that aren't this. I'll just put it like that. Also, if the mood strikes me, if for whatever reason I just get sort of swept up in the hype of something and I put it on, I'm not above trash TV.
Oh, no.
I'm not. I half like Jersey Shore, half like Geordie Shore. I will just watch this terrible stuff unfold and almost get involved in the characters.
I got it was 2018, I think it was, because I feel like it was the same as the World Cup. The concurrent 2018 World Cup and that season of Love Island was God mode. It was amazing. It was incredible. There's bits when people are like, have you seen this amazing comeback from Switzerland against France? I'm like, no, it's too much kicking off at the Casa de Moore. Sorry, mate.
So that's how it's not as good as that sort of thing. It just isn't even on the... If you want a wrestling storyline and you gravitate more towards wrestling than sports entertainment, you're obviously out of luck, and that's hardly a take or an insight. If you instead view it through those parameters, it's not bad.
Yeah, I quite like this.
It's not bad, but it's not. It's not Geordie Shore. This it's not Jersey Shore. And the episodic remit has been fulfilled. I do kind of want to know where it goes.
I still remember when someone first told me about Jersey Shore. And I was like, so what's going on? And like, oh, Gym Tan Laundry.
DTF.
Then, and then it was like, and there's these people there, it's Snooky. I was like, who's what? This girl called Snooky, right? And then what's the bloke called? The Situation. Sorry, his name's The Situation. Get it on right now.
Get it on.
It was class.
Get it on. It's still, optics-wise, a bit of a nightmare scenario. There was a column written by, I think it was Jesse Collins for Voices of Wrestling, where he posited that this is no different to WWE using a storyline as a vehicle to lash back at those who attack them, citing examples of Billionaire Ted, Right to Censor, they did the Denver Nuggets, LA Lakers thing on Raw. And Jesse argued, what really is the difference? The only difference is that Vince McMahon isn't in WWE. But if you look at their defense and what McMahon is claiming, and, it's repugnant, but his defense and how you can draw parallels between how Vince McMahon has perceived Janelle Grant, how, I need to make that doubly clear, how Vince McMahon is attempting to present Janelle Grant and the Liv Morgan character. It's kind of like, oh dear, this is even worse than it kind of was looking to begin with. I am a cynical bastard. I don't know if I would go that far, but it's certainly at an absolute minimum just showcases a complete lack of self-awareness within the company, a complete lack of sensitivity within the company, and this is at the very least the clear text messages, the very much implied nudes being shown around the Judgment Day. It's like, if nothing else, you are insensitive. Like,
there's no one putting their hand up and saying, is this a good idea to do this right now? Yeah,
and it's reflective of the company culture, which I said at the time on that Raw review. So yes, someone in the media did point it out. It continues to look pretty bleak depending on the extent to which you're cynical on how much of this is playing out deliberately.
Yeah. I enjoy it for what it is. And I do like...
It's trash TV.
Yeah.
It's well-plotted trash TV, and that's what it is.
I like the idea of some... Like, I don't want it to be a stipulation that overshadows... Because I'm really excited for Liv and Rhea. But I do like the idea of, like, Dom in a shark cage and Liv thinking, here we go. I've got this. And just Rhea just not caring. Like, as you mentioned...
There might be a subversion here.
Yeah. There's something a little bit later on, and there was some amazing stuff from Jey Uso that we'll get to. We go backstage. We see Drew McIntyre arriving to deal with suspension, and Gunther and Ilja and Sami and what have you. And then Dom's still pleading with Rhea as they walk through the back, and she goes to go in the locker room or the clubhouse for the Judgment Day, and it's filled with black roses and candles. And she just slams the door in his face. Damian Priest there and asks if everything's good. Dom's like, nah, not really. And she opens the door and just chucks everything in his face. And then we cut to the ring, and Sheamus says, he's in the doghouse, fella, basically. Because Sheamus is out to face Bronson Reed. Don't normally do sort of binary things on this, Sidge, but I'm going to give you a very simple question. Sheamus has new music. Good, bad?
Bad.
Yeah, correct. They've Def Rebel the shiznit out of...
Why would you take... It's the biggest cliche in the world. If it ain't bro.
Yes.
Like, Sheamus has got one of the few recognizable themes that generates a pop. People are familiar with
words, really. I know you had too many limes and what have you, but like the... Like, I knew that, and then I was like, what the hell's this? He still has the moment, which is great. I like the visuals on the Tron and what have you, but I was like, why have you done this?
God, have they ordered Def Rebel in bulk?
Just trying to run through. We've got to get 20 new songs
before the contract's fulfilled. Yeah.
Well, they just go, I'm sorry, guys.
Like a Hello Fresh.
Spin the roulette wheel of who unfortunately has to change their theme.
Is it like a BA52 deal?
I want to know what the CM Punk theme was going to be. I love to hear that. I mean, it would probably be voice of the voiceless.
I was just about to say, don't have a voice? No problem. He's the voice of the voiceless.
Anyway, Sheamus versus Bronson Reed. Early on, Sheamus got knocked to the floor, got hoyed over the announcer's table, but he comes back he smashes Bronson Reed against the announcer's table with his face off it, and forearms to the chest. And Sheamus, a very sweaty Sheamus hugs Pat McAfee as we go to break. When we come back, Sheamus is in trouble. He fights back, hits a white noise for a near fall. Reed, though, ducks a flying clothesline, hits a sit-out powerbomb for 2. Reed misses a moonsault. And Sheamus just nailed him with that lifting knee strike of his to get the 1, 2, 3. Crowd was loving Sheamus, obviously. 15 years, fair play to him. Reed tries to attack Sheamus after the match, but Pete Dunne runs down to make the save. Sheamus wants to shake his hand, but Dunne bails again. And then when Sheamus turns his back, Pete Dunne seemingly turns heel and attacks Sheamus, shrugs, bails, and Bronson Reed gives Sheamus a tsunami. Just to add insult to injury here. Yeah,
the thing about Pete Dunne, right, is like, if I was going to a wrestling show and I knew I was going to get a 16 to 18 minute Pete Dunne match, would love it.
Yeah.
He's an excellent, excellent pro wrestler. Literally everything he does on US cable TV, I just couldn't give a monkeys. I just couldn't. He's just not a TV wrestler for me. He isn't. He is you go and you watch him do a very intricate, complex, technically excellent pro wrestling match. It's weird how he's such a stan for that company. He wants to be the British Paul Levesque. I wouldn't want to even be the American Paul Levesque, to be honest. But regardless, he is where he is, and it just doesn't. It's never really worked for me. Looking at the audience reaction, I don't think they're really into Pete Dunne as a character anyway. So
I think he's better as a heel.
Yeah, that's the post.
Snapping fingers doesn't really work as a babyface unless you're part of the.
It doesn't work this many years into his career. How many hands have you broken, Pete?
Yeah.
Where's the book, Pete? You know? The match itself, right? It only really got a reaction. Usually when the signatures start to hit and they do various displays of body language to let you know, right, we're going to the finish. That's when fans like Mancunian candidate fans have switched on and think, we're going to start reacting now. It was weird because it was only like the last 30 seconds of the missed moonsault. Where they're like, well, seeing someone the size of him missing a moonsault, it's quite a spectacular sight that came up. One of the things that makes me cringe and laugh is when someone tries to be really epic and it just falls flat. I think it's good. I just think whenever arrogance is sort of struck down, I always enjoy that. They did this sequence where like Sheamus goes to punch or forearm or chop or whatever Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed sort of kneels and uses his face to convey, you're going to have to put me away with your best shot, Sheamus. I'm not going down that easily. I'm Bronson Reed. And you can hear a red piss. So that was a bit embarrassing. Yeah. He's got a habit, Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
In fact, this happens with a lot of WWE wrestlers, but he's a particular... They seem to think like that he's the 9th or 10th wonder of the world.
You fought it.
Whichever one we're on, where it's like, my God, Bronson Reed. He's just turned the upside down, guys. Whereas like, oh my God, he's going to do a cartwheel 4 seconds after the worst head scissors from Gargano you've seen in your life. And they're going to look at each other like, oh my God, what the f***? They've got this thing where they lay out these Bronson Reed matches with these sort of like moments where you're meant to think, oh my God, this guy. Can't do anything about this guy. It's like, well, you can. He loses every week. Just a weird, big, sweeping attempt at epic. And it never works at Bronson Reed, so I don't know why they keep trying. It's almost embarrassing.
Nice line from Sheamus on, I think it was on Raw Talk after this, regarding Pete Dunne's heel turn. For a vegan lad, he's got more beef than anyone else.
That's not bad at all.
Right, we'll go back to the clubhouse. Rhea's there with the rest of Judgment Day. He's getting along with Damian Priest. Thanks for looking after things while she's been away. Do you need any help with Gunther or Braun Strowman? Priest appreciates it, but he's good on his own. That babyface turns happening in front of our eyes. She's like, why is Carlito here? And he goes to explain it, but Dom comes in before he can. He says, I've been trying to contact you all week. And Ripley's like, why haven't I heard from you for the last 3 months? So obviously he hasn't been straightening things out every time that Liv Morgan's come on to him, basically. She storms off and rips petals off a rose and what have you. The rest of the gang are playing 2K in the background, and Carlito just says, angry, yeah? Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Don't you?
I like Carlito in this role.
They continue...
Yeah.
They continue to not be the Four Horsemen is my thing with the Judgment Day. They continue to not really be the Four Horsemen. They're one of those, either enjoy the way that a heel stable is portrayed on WWE's main roster, or you don't. I don't. People like Carlito. You like Carlito.
It's fun.
Doesn't
need to wrestle.
Again, I'm trying to be detached and objective and impartial. There's multiple plot strands. You don't know really who's ultimately completely aligned with who. You don't know. It's a like sort of subterfuge going on. But it's trash TV. WWE is trash TV. It is not cinema. It's trash TV. It's soap opera. Like, they almost embrace this. It's their decision to do this. If you look as well, it's markedly different to Paul Levesque's late 2022 bid at this. Yeah. With those like 22-minute matches for no reason, when he was like trying to like really tie Tommaso Ciampa and his aspirations for the US title in with Harley Race. Can you imagine that on WWE TV now? I'd say Levesque has learned his lessons. He's learned what the audience wants. They want this. I don't necessarily like it, but the fans obviously are engaged by it all. It's wild. He used to say, bloody wrestling. Yeah. Drew McIntyre used to say that every other word.
Yes.
We're wrestling now. Look, Harley Race is here. Look, all your favorite work rate guys from NXT, Black and Gold are here. But it worked, obviously. Yeah, but that was very much, I think, we talk about the age-old thing now of, is WWE's main roster good, or is it just more coherent than Vince McMahon? And have they just decided to keep the camera still for longer than a millisecond, you know? I would argue that at first, Levesque's TV just wasn't really great, and he was pandering with all this talk of wrestling and the Harley Race stuff and these long matches for long matches' sake. He is actually, it's weird to think about it in terms of years, because time just goes by like that now. We can now measure Paul Levesque's runner's creative booker creative whatever, in terms of years now. He's coming up to his 2-year anniversary. And I know Vince McMahon was meddling at various points. His approach has completely evolved. It really has. And now I don't think it's better than Vince. He's found out what WWE fans want. I don't want to put them over, but you kind of have to. And they're into this. They are into this big time.
This was part of like a period of about 20 minutes of the show where there was no wrestling. And then when the wrestling came around, it was like 60 seconds. So yeah, he's worked out that
people don't want long matches in WWE. They do not.
Right, Ilja Dragunov goes up to Sami Zayn in the back saying, look, I didn't help you last week just to get a title match. And Zayn's like, oh no, I'm the one who asked Postman Pierce for the match. You remind me of me, says Sami Zayn. You get ugly when you fight, and that's what it should look like when you're fighting for your life. You're the type of guy I want to defend the title against. They say, oh, give each other our best in the main event of the evening. Fantastic video package for Gunther came next. It was never his dream to be here, but when he got to WWE, that's all he saw from others. People wanted to be like their heroes, lacking originality. He wiped the mat with every challenger in NXT. He outgrew it. He went to SmackDown. He wanted to save the Intercontinental Championship. And he took that prize with ease, became the greatest champion of all time. And when that ended, he went on to be King of the Ring instead. He continued to see mediocrity from everyone and said the prestige of the world title would change forever at SummerSlam. He just feels massive, doesn't he?
He feels massive. They've done a really good job of... Like, to be fair, he's great in the live segment later on in the show as well. But they are very much telling you the message. This is the new big bad. This is the new big bad. Get used to the new Gunther reality.
Yeah. It's going to be like this until WrestleMania next year.
Now they've done a really good job. A really strong job.
Earlier on in the day, we see Zelina Vega chatting with Jackie Redmond, who doesn't like either Liv Morgan or Rhea Ripley, but she's going to be at the front of the line to challenge whoever wins, basically, because she would have been champion if not for Dominik Mysterio. Sonya Deville and her new gang of Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark interrupt. And Sonya's like, it's funny that you actually think you're even near the front of that line. Vega said, I can't hear anything past your foreheads, which is quite a funny line.
You love that, didn't you? He's pissed himself.
She also made a crack at someone having a mustache and challenged her to a match, which we're about to see.
Yeah, and it wasn't good.
It was 65 seconds.
And it was still bad. How do you do something that bad in 65 seconds?
Yeah, Vega hit the 6-1, unless Vega's already carrying an injury, which is why they only went this, because they're selling the whole arms buggered now. They did the footage of her walking backstage. I saw on social media at least, because Vega basically just straight away hit the 619. Sonya,
you say hit.
Well, went for the 619. Sonya distracted the referee.
She can. It's semantics. She hit it, yes. She connected, yes. Well, I'm trying to say it looked terrible.
Sonya takes the ref, though, and Baszler just stamps on her arm, and we get the Deville's advocate. I never know which way to say that, because it's the devil's advocate, obviously, but it's her finisher. It's the DDT thing. Gets the win. And then they keep beating her down until, fresh from the club, Katana Chance, Kayden Carter, and Lyra Valkyria fly in to make the save.
Yeah, look, this match was... I would describe it, given how long it went, as astonishingly bad. Like, it's almost impossible to do something like this, and because it was like the terrible to time action ratio was just bizarre, because I had so little time to do anything, and yet everything they did looked bad. Like the 619 just looked so gentle. There was a DDT, like a tornado spinning DDT from Vega to Deville. That just looked so, like, it was in stages. And then I think Deville had to sell it as if, bloody hell, she's giving me a run for my money? Yeah. Best get the help. And then our facials were not good.
Right, we're backstage again. Damian Priest is walking to the ring, but he gets confronted by Dominik Mysterio, who says, why didn't you warn me about Rhea Ripley last week? Priest was like, I did try to tell you, but you were too busy with Liv Morgan. And you keep lying to me, and you have kept lying to me about talking to Rhea Ripley and trying to end things with Liv Morgan. Anyway, enough of all that. In comes Jey Uso, who says, Oos, tell me, is it true? Is it true? Tell me it's true. Rhea Ripley is single and ready to mingle because I'm trying to holla. Priest's like, maybe. Maybe you got a chance, basically. Dom's upset. He's not happy about this, but Jey tells him, hey, when you see Mammy, tell her I said hi. And then he just walks off. And Priest says, you've been to prison, right? You need to lay down the law, basically. Take care of business. And Dom storms off to set up the match. Asks Priest to a match against Jey. And Priest seems very happy with himself.
3 things. 1, Damian Priest's sort of tricked him basically with what comes later, yes. Dominik Mysterio. A good plan, because it set up like a pretty solid gag and made Dominik Mysterio look like another wanker again. That was point 1. Point 2, Jey Uso genuinely has got really good comedic timing.
Yeah.
Point 3, there's an age gap there and it's a bit weird. Jey Uso's like 40 years old.
Yeah. And also, it's the whole thing of like, we all know what she's been doing while she's been away, but it's good stuff. Anyway, Chad Gable approaches Postman Pierce, says he's cracked the case, he's cracked the code. Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy. That was never a question, was it? And he also knows that he met with Bo last week, asks what they discussed, and He's like, I'm not going to tell you that. It's privileged information. He's like, all right, how are you going to discipline him? And he says, well, Bo's here tonight. Why don't you deal with it yourself? And Gable says, fine. Victim blaming, but I'll call him out later. We'll get to that in a bit. Anyway, Damian Priest is in the ring now. He calls out Gunther, who comes out, puts over Priest, World Heavyweight Champion, looking confident, carrying Raw, living out his childhood dream of being the World Heavyweight Champion. But Priest isn't living up to it, he says. His reign has been nothing, no prestige, no contributions, but he understands, though, it's okay. We're not cut from the same cloth. He wants to do him a favour. How about I just lift that weight off your shoulder, spare you the embarrassment, just give me the title. We can move on. Only someone like Gunther can make that actually work as a viable.
No, he's unbelievable.
Priest's like, you prick. I wish it was SummerSlam right now so I could wipe that smirk off your face. We all heard what you said. This wasn't your dream. You were getting handed everything in Europe. Meanwhile, I was literally fighting for my life in the streets. I did for 20 years. If it's not your dream, we don't need you here. I know you're good, but you don't give a damn. I earned this title. And you're the last person that's going to take it, basically. Gunther says, I recognize your hardship. I'm not going to question your street cred, but being on the street is a choice. Don't blame me that your parents taught you wrong. My parents provided me with everything. God, you're just
he's incredible.
My greatness was recognized my whole life. While you were on the streets, I was getting calls from WWE begging me to sign a contract. And the reason
he's not wrong as well. They really wanted him.
The reason why I'm here is so that they don't have to call people like you a champion. It's going to be me. I'm going to be champ. Because who, if not me, can take on the challenge and responsibility to restore honor and prestige to the World Heavyweight Championship and this great sport. There's one thing he doesn't understand, why all of these people don't love him to death, because they're just like Priest. Whatever he achieves, Priest is and always will be street trash. And Priest's like, for someone who claims to have so much clarity, it's amazing. You can't see what's coming at you. You can't see why you lost the title at Mania. It's the same reason you're going to lose at SummerSlam. It's because you've got no heart. Oh, made me super sad, that. Shout out to Von Wagner.
Oh, he's doing okay. Genuinely, I really do.
He doesn't know what it feels like to have to fight for everything he's got. Priest says he's going to remain champion come SummerSlam. And you'll have to fight from the bottom for the first time, Gunther, because you'll have nothing. And then we'll find out maybe if you're more than just a boring, conceited, privileged scumbag. And they go head-to-head. Looks like they're about to have a fight, but then here comes Braun Strowman ahead of their match, and Gunther just sort of laughs all this off. Love this.
I thought this was genuinely really, 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 really strong and really inspired. Doesn't work as well if they haven't tried over a span of a very long time to sort of make Damian Priest feel like he's got agency, like he's kind of above and has outgrown the Judgment Day and wants to get it done on his own, etc., etc. Because when Gunther, at the very start of this promo exchange, said that your reign's hardly been prestigious, I could not help but agree with the heel, which is not what you want to do, because across his 3 Big Show defenses, he's had this loud but ultimately mediocre match with Jey Uso, and like 2 pretty glaring botches in his subsequent 2 big-time title defenses, and the last one was particularly acute because he at least recovered well from the leg snafu at Clash at the Castle. But the Money in the Bank stuff was not good at all. So yeah, it realistically hasn't been a very good reign. It's obviously not how he's imagined it was going to go the night of WrestleMania Night 2. And then they tell this story, and the individual performances are so good that it's like, right, okay, well, I'm banging Damian Priest. How can he not sort of side with someone who's got that story compared to Gunther's? I thought Gunther's performance here was majestic. I think the promotion behind this character, the new King of the Ring character, and how he's just that much more of a knobhead, has been majestic. Ultimately, right,
not
WWE,
crowning sight either.
Yeah. WWE, and yet you feel so much more like a king than half the rest of them, or if not more. WWE is building Gunther as the next big bad of the autumn. Fall as the dominant heel. The dominant heel. The video package is again an illustration of his dominance, and it's not one of those video package where they're trying to dress anything up or to edit around. He is, and it was just another illustration of his dominance, and he's brought the heel to this segment. Like, some of the stuff he was coming out with, it's like, it's not even skirting a line of tasteless. I mean, it was, he said things that I just like fundamentally disagree with, but not in a way that was like really cheap or lazy or hacky.
No,
like they couldn't,
or out of character even.
Yeah, not out of character, not tasteless, nothing in like really bad taste. This is just like the best kind of generic heel, if that makes any sense. Where it wasn't too near the knuckle. I thought Gunther was absolutely tremendous here, to the point where it's like, obviously, I know where the result's going. Even if it was up in the air, you'd want Gunther to win because you're probably going to get, you are guaranteed to get a much better caliber of matches across the fall.
You could put, off the top of your head, you could book, if Sami drops that IC title to Braun, you have the rematch, obviously. Yeah. Like, straight away.
Oh, there's loads.
You could get Orton over and say, like, you didn't really win the king. Like,
there's loads. And he has great matches with everyone. That's the good thing about, the great thing about Gunther.
Gunther's someone I could believe would put his title on the line, go into the Royal Rumble and still win.
Indeed. But through sheer storytelling and character work alone, they've actually, in the thrust of the drama at SummerSlam, maybe I want Priest to see it out, because Gunther was such a domineering arsehole on the microphone. A great promo from him.
Yeah, like you say, I enjoyed Damian Priest's time as world champion, but I'm very excited to see what this Gunther dominance towards WrestleMania looks like.
But from a pure, I was just swept up in the fiction here.
But I am, if it comes to the point where, let's say, for example, Damian Priest looks like maybe he's got him. He might be able to beat Gunther, and then Balor costs him or whatever happens. Yeah, really, really good stuff. Right, we go backstage. Postman Pierce tells Jey he's facing Dominik Mysterio tonight, and he's like, oh, great. Yeet leaves, and then Braun Breaker comes in, pissed off about Dragunov getting a title shot. Breaker threatens to kill everyone, and Pierce threatens to suspend him. So he sort of beckons security over, but Breaker leaves and tell security to keep watch. They didn't do a very good job. Spoilers.
No.
Then it was time for Damian Priest versus Braun Strowman.
Get the title on Gunther.
Fun sort of big lads going at it. But Strowman, during the match, tries a running tackle outside the ring. Priest moves. Strowman goes through over the barricade and does his knee in the process. He's selling that when we come back from the break. Sort of matching power again with Damian Priest, as I said, but Priest kicks the leg out of his leg. Strowman tries for a power slam, but the leg gives out. Priest hits South of Heaven. 1, 2, 3. Post-match, Gunther marches down, chops Priest. Priest fights back. Another chop from Gunther. Clothesline from Priest, and they are separated.
Yeah, a weird one to appraise this, because Braun Strowman did a good job of something he shouldn't really be doing. I think he did all right selling, but I don't really want to see that. Can I not just have, 5 minutes of daft, meat spots? I thought this was, not particularly...
Braun versus Gunther eventually.
They've done that before. It was really good. But that's the thing about Gunther. He can work that style of match and not make it fun. He can make it serious. And it works just because he's so incredible. Damian Priest simply isn't. Sort of 5 minutes of dumb meat stuff. And this is more like of a storytelling limb match, which WWE will always in some ways be WWE.
Yeah.
And it was weirdly pitched, because isn't the idea, they've told it the entire night, Priest said it in his promo, he's very much just lighting a match, flicking it into the Judgment Day, who you're meant to love to hate, and watching it burn. You're all meant to think Damian Priest is going to go out like a hero at SummerSlam, probably, then be a face, and then, go back again. Making me sympathize, or trying to make me sympathize with Strowman, and having a dull match as a byproduct was just a really weird choice.
Chad Gable approaches Otis Kurosawa and Maxine Dupri backstage. He hears them talking about being a team, and basically assumes that they are getting back together with him. And he also informs them, in case they were unaware, that Uncle Howdy's Bo Dallas. And Maxine's like, yeah,
Did I enjoy that running gag where he thought he's cracked the code?
Yeah.
I mean, it's very angled, but you can't escape that fate at this point, can he?
Yeah. Hey, guys, I'm not sure if you heard about this, but Bo Dallas is Uncle Harry, and Maxine's like, we knew that already. And they also weren't talking about teaming up with Chad Gable. They're teaming up with Xavier Woods, who walks in. He's going to... Well, they're all going to team together, take on the Final Testament next week. Yes, I was wondering where he was going to be popping up. Gable's pissed off. Otis, you're not serious about this. Otis is deadly serious. And Woods says he's looking forward to teaming them. I'm looking forward to them teaming against the Final Testament whilst Ellering.
Yeah. I think you might be the only person alive. And I know, that's hyperbole. And but the only person alive, I mean, that's hyperbole.
Yeah,
People just say things, it's like, turns of phrases. You might be the only person alive, because if you look in those buildings when Karrion Kross wrestles, you can hear a red piss on can. It's like you know how there's like the Mutter scale for blood? There should be like the cross scale for silence.
Yeah, they have the decibel counter.
Yeah.
The opposite of that.
I mean, no one cares.
Flat line.
No one cares. I mean, you do.
Big spike in there.
I mean, the cross scale.
The snickometer like they have in football now. That's weird, wasn't it?
What was that again? Oh, I think I was paying attention.
To prove that the balls hit, like in cricket, to prove that the balls hit something, they do a sound wave. Obviously, if it hits something, it'll make a little noise, and it was when it clicked.
Of course, yeah.
It's handball.
Yeah.
You need the snickometer.
Nah, I don't need anything. I don't need nothing.
But I think Karrion Kross is going to do the Caterpillar next week, so looking forward to that one. Just love him.
He seems like a good guy. You never know.
What are they going to do to poor Kira Tozawa? I hope you're going to just tear
I'm going to go with an incredibly over-elaborate setup to a move, and then when the move actually happens, people just go...
Scarlett's going to fireball someone. Don't know. They've got previous.
They've got previous.
Open that contract, Keith. Well, that seems fine. Don't know why this is meant to be spooky. Whoa! It's a different time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a terrible time.
Right. Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark versus, fresh from the club, Kayden Carter and Katana Chance, Lyra Valkyrie in their corner, Sonya Deville in Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark's corner. Nice spot where they did the keg stand from the top to the outside. Well, terrifying.
That was, yeah.
That took us to a break. Chance fights back after that, though. Moonsault knees to Baszler. And also Carter dropped Chance onto Baszler for 2, but Deville jumps up on the apron. Lyra Valkyria cuts her off, but this whole distraction allows Zoey Stark to get a huge missile drop kick, and they do the bit where they hook one of them into the, I think it was Katana Chance.
I like the finish.
Yeah, for a big knee to the face.
I mean, Katana Chance looked like she was dead, so that's good. No, obviously, it's a weird turn of phrase.
I know what you mean.
It looked very, very impactful. It looked like a really cool, powerful wrestling move.
It's a high bar after what happened to poor Dalton Castle over the weekend. Get well soon to him.
Oh, Christ, Jesus.
Let's think.
Mr. Collision review.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone who, because I was like, Collision. It's been better, to be fair, in recent weeks, Collision. There's been occasional flashes of things.
Yeah, not last week, brother.
Thank you to everyone who tweeted me saying, Dalton Castle's working. Keep an eye out on that. I was enjoying a break from wrestling. I told you earlier, I went to South Shields yesterday.
The most beautiful coast in the country.
Eric is...
I'm not taking the piss out of it.
It's really nice. I think I'd really appreciate it.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun's the word. Nice.
Fun.
It's
got an arcade, therefore goated.
Yeah.
I took...
Best fish and chips and best ice cream in the Northeast.
Yeah. I'm going to...
Fight me. Fight me.
Nodding from...
Coleman's and Minchellas.
So went round the, what's it called? Ocean Pleasure Beach? Or something like that. Yeah. Nicholas, you can get involved in this.
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game!
How much did hook a duck cost? Right, it's going to make me sound really old, this. But I remember back in the day, if you're unaware, do Americans have hook a duck? What do they have?
I don't know. I'm not American.
Grab a mallard or something like that.
Mallard mayhem. Hook a duck.
Sorry.
Mallard madness.
It's a kids paddling pool, load of plastic ducks with hooks on the top, and you have to hook one of them, and you basically always win a prize, don't you? At this, it's not exactly.
Bless me, he's worked it out.
Yeah. The magic's been ruined for me. So it's I beat the time limit. There isn't a time. It's Eric. Eric's 11 months old today, so I thought I'd get him something there. Maybe it's just me. Maybe times have just changed. How much for a game of hook-a-duck?
Well, you know, South Shields is almost inflation-proof.
I was seeing the 99 prices, and they were also very impressed.
They're not that bad at all. If you go to Manchella's, for the quality of ice cream you get, it's genuinely really, like, I think it's affordable and all.
Chips. Oh, I forgot to the chips. I meant to mention this to you. They're like, cooked so well. I'm getting off topic here.
You are. Well, obviously, you're going to have an outrage here. I'm going to say £4.
Okay.
Even though the arcades are like £1 a game still.
Nicholas?
£1 a pop for Mario Kart.
I'm going to go one up. I was thinking £5. Like, not because it should
You think a £5?
Not because it should be.
Just the way he's gotten on.
You've
He's got his knickers in a twist about it, hasn't he?
You've split the difference. £4.50 for a game of hook-a-duck.
Was the prize worth $4.50 or not?
I'll show...
The phone?
I'll show Sidge.
bad.
I'll show Sidge. Actually, I don't know he's take this photo. With the what we got for him. You can describe it to the listeners. There it is right there.
It's a big cuddly duck, and he's loving it.
So he did it. It was worth it. But my mother's going to have a heart attack when she finds out it's £4.50. Guarantee she should buy a duck from the shop. Good point, obviously, but also
The brutal reality of a mother, that.
yeah. I distinctly remember, I told you the story, I distinctly remember telling my mother my plan to propose to Anne-Louise on a gondola in Venice. I had this all big planned out. Last thing she says to us is...
Don't drown.
Nope. Don't waste your money on a gondola. I've just told you, what are you doing? Anyway.
Don't waste your money trying to create a romantic atmosphere as a backdrop to your proposal. Just do it in the hotel, save you some money.
In fact, don't buy a ring. Just get some twine. Put it together. Basically serves the same purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right, well, whilst we're off topic, do you want to finish off what we did earlier before I forget? Sorry to ruin the mood.
It's a chill in the air now.
But it's now time for the Raw Riddle. I'll remind you again, Michael Sidgwick. What has lots of eyes but can't see?
Dictionary.
Oh, it's good, not right.
I hate these.
we-
Obviously, it's one of the. It could have been correct.
Yeah, it could, but unfortunately, you don't have the right answer according to 101 riddles for kids. I have in front of me. Nicholas, do you want to have a go?
No.
Okay. It's a potato. It was a potato, ladies and gentlemen. Your answer was better.
Probably. Pile of has 1,000 eyes. Potatoes have eyes?
You know, I was thinking.
What if it's like...
I was just word yesterday. The deceit in a liar's eye. I thought that yesterday, started laughing to myself.
I don't know. It's a strong word, but it's embarrassing to win it.
It's you I think of, and I think of it. What is it?
It was the right shit.
You can see the deceit in a lie.
You can see the truth in
That's
the
it.
liar's eyes.
Right. Speaking of potential liars, Finn Balor is backstage with JD McDonough. They're chatting to Ripley.
The potatoes only get eyes when they're... What is an eye of a potato?
I don't know.
There's those like weird things that come out of it when it's when it gets a little bit old and you think, well, I will just take a peel out of that and did not exist. Thank you.
Eyes on potatoes are the growing points on potato tubers, each with a little stem bud.
So they exist before the things.
Can you?
I'm just trying to deconstruct this because
do not eat potato sprouts.
So is the sprouts are that from which the eyes grow?
Yes.
Or the other way around. So basically, they exist before the sprouts.
The eyes are the yes, yeah.
Right. So they do exist all along, even if they've not yet sprouted the weird white bits. Right. Okay. This should be.
I think they are. I think
dictionary's better.
I think they are. Also, the sprouty bits.
Okay. Well, what if it's a fresh potato? I know. This is stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, there's lots of these ones.
You've got to save them for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
There's only 101.
And then we're in real trouble.
We'll just come up with a new game.
Yeah. I spy. Right, Balor and McDonald are there with Rhea Ripley basically saying, yeah, Liv Morgan's all right, She helped us win the tag titles. She doesn't care. She knows Morgan's playing games. She's just glad the Judgment Day got titles again, and she's going to get hers back, basically. Dom comes in. He says, I'm going to teach Jey a lesson tonight. And Rhea's like, stupid. Why are you picking a fight with Jey Uso? Dom says, oh, yeah, good point. Actually, I'll go and cancel it. And she goes, well, you a coward now?
Good. Okay.
And Dom says, I wanted to show Jey and everyone else that Ripley's my mummy and she belongs to me. She's like, excuse me? Good stuff, this. Ripley storms off. Dom tries to take it back, saying he didn't mean it like that. But Carlito says, not cool.
Not cool. Yeah, decent. For what it is, which is trash TV. Just to say it again, it is trash television.
Drew McIntyre comes out. Crowd obviously chant for CM Punk. Postman Pierce is there. He says, look, we're on the verge of something special. We all want to see this match between you and Punk. Punk's at home, at my request. He's trying to recover, try and get cleared, etc. He wants the match as well. Drew says he wants this match more than anything in the world. Good, says Postman Pierce. It could be special. Let's leave the irrational behavior behind. Let's do business, basically. Drew says, I'm ready to do business. I get it. I understand. You did what you needed to do. Last week, I had to watch Punk and Seth in the ring. I want this more than anything. But WWE Universe, do you want this? Everyone loves it, obviously. Drew says, right, let's make it official. Pierce says, just one thing. And he gets a couple of refs to come into the ring. He says, look, I know what happened at Money in the Bank was uncalled for, but they didn't deserve what happened to them. I want you to apologize to these two referees who, referees deliberately look small. You're not going to have me, 6'3" in the ring trying to ref a match because it makes the competitors look weird. But they look particularly...
And they don't want, the thing is about Wilbourn, just like while you're on this, you don't Wilbourn in the ring. Otherwise, the wrestlers won't look as intimidating. What?
No, as in height-wise. I mean, they just look
particularly... I'm taking the piss.
Particularly diminutive compared to Drew McIntyre here. And Drew's like, why would I apologize? Pierce sort of tries to reason with him. They deserve the respect. He's not being unreasonable, he says. They got hurt. I just want an apology, that's it. Drew considers it, walks over to them and says, no. The refs have only ever screwed him. He kept getting screwed around here, and all this happened under
around too much.
Postman Pierce's
Quit screwing around.
Old Punk screwed me over and then got sat cross-legged like an idiot on the table. And you didn't send refs after him like you did to me. You should be on your hands and knees apologizing to me. I'd never accept an apology from Punk. I want his head on a spike. Pierce says, well, if you don't accept it, then you're still suspended. Drew just stares him down, walks over to him, shoves one ref, shoves another one, gets in Postman Pierce's face. But then here comes Seth Rollins, who runs down, jumps in, attacks, punches, super kicks, goes for the stomp, but Drew bails. Seth wants more. Security runs down and gets rid of Drew, just storms. Get out of the way. Storms off here.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's good to set up for the future Punk versus Seth and keep him involved so that it has this inbuilt logic and there's a reason. It's good. These interactions are fundamentally good, I think. But it's a similar deal with Ospreay, Garcia, MJF. It's like, I just want singles matches.
Yes, yeah.
When you've got big ones, I just kind of want singles matches where possible. So the threat of Seth Rollins is logical, and the way that they are doing it means it's going to feel more legitimate and credible when Punk and Seth do cross paths. The idea that they've never quite stopped thinking about each other and all the rest of it. But whenever I see Seth too closely involved in this, I'm worried that they're either going to make it a triple threat or really signpost the finish. Like, you know what I mean? What's more important, right? Like, firming up the idea that these two wrestlers who've got a little bit of something going on in the periphery, they might have something, or they're definitely going to have a match at some point, to make it seem like, they really hate each other. Or do you just... stage by stage,
Wouldn't mind if it was the Monday after.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree. There's a lot of that in wrestling right now.
A lot of signposting in wrestling. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, my thought process here was maybe Punk's not going to be 100%, and they're just going to go, let's put Seth in there to try and take away from that.
We know that CM Punk, as he should, I'm being facetious, as an independent contractor, he's very protective over his own body, which is his profession.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot do it without it. But he'd never put himself in one of those situations again, Wilbourn. So we'll see.
My pitch...
He got physical like 3 months ago when he was in the...
My pitch to Phil was...
But that would make him... I'm not saying anything.
Make Seth the special guest referee with the most flamboyant referee shirt you've ever seen.
And you bloody Adidas tune top. That's class. You should wear that. No, he's not.
Right, we see a clip following this of the Pat McAfee show, Wyatt Sicks getting involved there and delivering a tape that they then play. And this was the bit I just thought was amazing.
Yeah.
Erick Rowan, interviewed effectively by Uncle Howdy off screen. He asked how he's been, and oh boy, this is a tough watch. Rowan says, the last few years have been very hard. He used to have a family. They were unstoppable. They always had each other's backs. And then one day the whole world changed. He lost a brother. The person in this world who believed in him more than anyone, gone. It knocked him on his ass. In those situations, you get up, you wipe the dust off, you keep moving. That's what you got to do. Life goes on. And then just when he thought he had everything going, his other brother was gone too. He starts crying here. He had no more family, no more will. He fell down a well. He couldn't get out. He didn't want to. Why? Why would he want to? He felt catatonic, numb to everything. Who's going to miss him? He's just Rowan.
Oh, it was heartbreaking, that. Really, really well delivered.
He gets thrown the goat mask and asks, how's that make him feel? And you get clips of him from the Wyatt family, of course. He says the mask gives him hope. When he was at his lowest and he reached out, he got pulled up. He saw the hand, he accepted it. He needed help. He had a purpose to help those like himself. And the mask reminds him of that beacon of hope. They're going to take the broken hearts and make some beautiful art.
This was like staggering, really. I mean, is this working? It's the best performance of something that's hard not for me. I can recall off the top of my head, like Bo Dallas has been great in these sit-downs. Yeah. These sit-downs are, in fact, yes, I know in the live context they are doing, effects, shall we say. And your own headcanon determines what's going on with these effects, and everyone's going to argue or discuss or debate or whatever. They have, in fact, tethered this to reality as sort of promised or at least fed through the media. It's weird, though. I mean, they go on massacres and you can't help but root for them. It's bizarre, but it's working. It's working like the usual. By now, right, trying to phrase this delicately, by now, the lifespan of such a thing, something laughable would have happened already.
Yeah.
We're nowhere near that yet. This Rowan promo was so unbelievably great. Like, you kind of want him to terrorize people and show him what he's got. What was so perfect about that line in particular, right, was the fans, I don't think, believe it, but you can believe that he believes it, and he was at that lowest ebb. Because what's happened is that there's been the evolution of Erick Rowan / Eric Redbeard, the wrestler, and the perception of the wrestler. Is that the Wyatt family emerged is the trio that they settled upon on the main roster 2013, whatever. And the crack was, it wasn't quite the Shield, where you could see, right, I can see that wrestler being the work rate guy, that guy being the matinee top star, and that one being like a rare, brawling, unhinged lunatic. There was the creative next Undertaker, Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
There was that best big man in wrestling in Luke Harper. And then there was Rowan.
Yeah.
Like people, I've like that battleground match against the Usos was incredible. Like Rowan was awesome in those 6 mans with the shields, but ultimately he had the same selling point as Harper, but people knew Harper to be the better worker.
That's fair.
So when they were, we were forecasting their singles runs, you never really were optimistic for what Rowan could do. And that when he said that's just Rowan, the worst one's the one that's left, sort of that was his headspace. Yeah. You can believe that he believes it because of what the perception was of each wrestler at the time. And what's happened since, and I hope he knows this because it was delivered in such a believable, almost heartbreaking way that you hope he knows, is that every time he's cameoed in AEW, he's been absolutely incredible. And it's not just a pity thing.
No.
Rowan is that he has earned, well before they are really trying to make you sympathize with him, he's earned the fact that, people overlooked him at the time. He's great and everyone hopes he's doing well. So this is genuinely, fair play to him as well for doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, it must have been incredibly difficult to confront not only this profound twice over grief, but reckoning with his own sort of life and career all in one promo. And if it's ever meant anything, I hope he knows that it has.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really. It's always going to be a weird dynamic, this with Bo and Erick Rowan in, with obviously knowing everything that's happened. But yeah, my God, if you're not rooting for Rowan after this, I don't know what will make you.
Yeah, I know.
Amazing. Best luck to him. Right, we follow that with Jey Uso versus Dominik Mysterio. Dom attacks him during Jey's entrance, but Jey fights back. Uppercuts, kicks, and Enziguri, running hip attack. He's setting up for the splash when Liv Morgan comes down, pulls Dom out of the ring. Dom's like, what are you doing? Then when they do the spot, which they've done a lot already, drop kick to Dom. He falls on top of Morgan. She flips it over and mounts Dominik Mysterio. Goes to the kiss, but Rhea Ripley comes out and Liv Morgan bails through the crowd. Ripley's like, get back in the ring to Dom, who obviously just immediately gets hit by a spear. Uso splash. 1, 2, 3 to Jey.
It was pretty bad. There's a spot in this match, right, where, this is again, the standard of in-ring on Raw at times is really not good. There was a sequence here. So Jey Uso, he dances for so long that I honestly reckon if I'm in that building and I'm on the, it depends on where I'm sat. If I've got an aisle seat, which, oh my God, blessed to get at WrestleMania weekend. I felt I was on the aisle the entire time.
Yeah.
Hate being in the middle, me. Oh, could you move, please? If I had an aisle seat, right, and I've already scouted, right, where's the bar? So the bar's there. Actually, man, I need a quick piss. These light American stadium beers go right through me. Quick piss. Hand over with regret. $20 to buy a weak lager. Right. Thank you. Right. Back up to the seat. At that point, after doing the dance, he's punched him. I reckon I can make it back in my seat in time. It's preposterous. It didn't not work. It's only Dominik Mysterio. I mean,
yeah.
What
are the Wembley beers like?
Not remotely bad. I think it was I remember, basically, I'm cheap. And I've got 2 kids with interests and all the rest of it. Not that any child is cheap. But I remember going, I'll pay that. Not begrudgingly.
Okay.
There's been times I was going, I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing it. Mate, I want to say 8, 7, 8.
Bad.
It wasn't like double figures. I remember distinctly it wasn't double figures. But and then it's like, so that happens. And then, right, so he's done so he's on the advantage. Throws Dom into the corner. Dom, boof, does the bump, sits down so he can get like
the running hip attack.
The hip attack thing. Jey Uso just hits the middle turnbuckle, arse first. Like Dominik Mysterio might as well be horizontal. There's no connection whatsoever.
Especially when you compare to like Jacob Fatu's recently.
Yeah. Oh, Tony Storm's brilliant work with that move. And like the crowd, you can almost hear them go, ugh. Oh, you didn't hit him. It took him a while to get it all back. Pathetic pro wrestling. It was absolutely pathetic.
It was all about what came afterwards. Ripley approaches Dom in the back and says, Dom, let's get something straight. I don't belong to anyone. I'm not yours. You're mine. She smiles and hands him a rose.
Yeah, I think she's basically given up. She's still performing as if she's been hurt by him, but you get the idea now that she's now going to use him.
Yeah. Going to be conflicted.
But I think she seems to be using them there because that was very far too quick an apology. Something's up here. There's a game being played. And then you think, so is she trying to play him, or is Dominik at some point just going to choose Liv? That's like, Love Island's rubbish, and this is worse than Love Island, but I kind of have to know what these idiots are going to do next. Damn it, I could be reading a book.
Dom's going to be like, can I pull you for a chat, actually? I'm very excited to see conflicted.
So what have you been doing for those 3 months? Like the tit or whatever. Suck the tits or whatever. You what? Like the tit or whatever. Suck the tits or whatever.
Let's get a recoupling ceremony going on. That's what we need.
See, I don't know what that is.
That's proper Love Island, that is.
Thing is, I'm a Love Island. I'll watch 2 minutes of it. Francis is watching it or whatever. Right, I am seated. And then there's only so much I can take. It's like, right, I've had my fill of trash now. It's like a deep fried. That's a terrible analogy. I would eat it all. So what happened next on the program?
Chad Gable comes out to break the...
Hang on, I've asked, how far away are we from the main event?
Really not far at all.
Oh, good.
Chad Gable comes out to break the news that shocks the world that Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy.
It's good running.
It is good stuff. He calls out Bo Dallas, who comes out to no music, and he's jumped by the Creed brothers. Finally, this is what we're talking about. Finally, Chad Gable and the Creed brothers are together. Just, not with this. Not with this. But anyway, And they stand over, they beat him down, get him in the ring, stand over him, and Bo Dallas just starts laughing. And Gable keeps yelling at him. Julius and Brutus keep beating him up. They're in nice suits and what have you. Gable gets him and does the suplex. But Dallas, not Gallus, Dallas props himself up against the bottom turnbuckle, starts laughing. Gable asks what's so funny. Bo Dallas simply says, "There you are. You effed up, Chance." The lights go out, and the rest of the Wyatt Sicks appear.
This is the one thing we didn't want to happen.
They take a long time getting down to the ring and the smoke and what have you. So the Gable and the Creeds are like, scream. But we get a great visual of the Wyatt Sicks with Bo Dallas doing the Bray Wyatt pose and laughing as this segment ended.
Yeah, I didn't like this.
Not for me, but
not
I understand
for me,
why
Jeff.
people like this.
Yeah, I mean, then can I? Not really, but we'll go with it. Two things I didn't like about this, right? One, right, I've told you a million times that this week's thing I hate the most in wrestling is wrestlers trying to act unbalanced or unhinged in some way. I can't see the truth in the liar's eye. The righteous, others.
Yeah.
You cannot convince me that unless We've done it before. Like Foley could do it. Foley could do it. Hangman Page is doing it.
Joaquin Phoenix in Joker can do it.
Like Hangman Page is doing it. When Bo Dallas is giving it the, I just no. I can sympathize with him. I cannot believe that he's like genuinely unbalanced. That is key as well. Because if it's not going to be supernatural, you have to at least convey that you are, psychotic enough to basically adapt an alter ego and embody that alter ego and become a different person. And you cannot do it on this evidence. It was just everyone's is different. Everyone's wife got the ick, right? Everyone's tolerance for cringe is different, right? My wife's is evidently low. My tolerance for this sort of thing is very, very, very low in wrestling, okay? So I was just a bit like, I don't believe you. Two more problems. One, you finally get, after all these teasers in the background, which I've been reliably informed are goated and very important, of Chad Gable and the Creeds coming together. And I mean, who couldn't be excited about these three intense jocks with incredible athletic credentials and a really nasty attitude about being toxic jock intense ass kickers. What are you doing wearing suits? Why are you wearing suits? Why is it like this? Why is it that sort of like formal WWE holier than thou heel appearance? That's not the right look, the right aesthetic, the right tone, the right feel for this Chad Gable. That's the thing. If you're going to rip off Kurt Angle, don't be like Main Event Mafia when the Creeds are involved. Not that aesthetic. Be like, I want to see them in sort of trackies. Yeah. In sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like tracksuits, basically, like whatever Americans call it, sweats. Like, it's not how I wanted it to look. And maybe that's a me problem, but I think when everyone said, the Creeds, the really intense jock guys, they're going to team up with a preeminent intense jock guy. I wanted to see them be jocks. So not only do they not look the part, or the part I wanted them to play, and maybe that's a subjective thing, but I don't think
I'm with you on this.
Yeah. They're all, like, you should have them kicking ass, ripping throats out, like bullying people, being nasty to people, celebrating really gruesome looking head drop moves and just being jocks and arseholes. You don't want to see them cower in suits on night one. No. Really
kick the crap out of Akira. No, I like all of them, but always in Akira.
They're characters, so just kick their ass and make it look goddamn dangerous while you're at it. It's a work. Really, this is all kinds of bad for me, this main event segment.
What's the phrase you use? Monkey's paw, like, I want this. Okay, you can have it, but you're only getting it like,
Indeed, yeah. So I thought performances, plotting, it's a good job this Erick Rowan promo happened on this program.
Agreed. Main event time, Intercontinental Championship on the line.
Thought that was the main event.
Dragunov and Sami Zayn going at it.
I need a piss. Nothing against Sami Zayn and Ilja Dragunov. No. I just really need a piss. This match wasn't really that. It was. Yeah.
I looked at it and I was like, oh, they're only getting 10 minutes. Well, this isn't going to a finish. Zayn hits a dive, 90 seconds in to take us to a break. When we come back, Zayn hits a blue thunder bomb, gets a 2 count. Exploder basically drops Dragunov on his head. But then when Zayn rushes in, Dragunov, they did a nice slow-mo of him just kicking Sami Zayn right in the face. Dragunov tries for an H-bomb, but Zayn gets his foot up. So he knees Zayn out of the ring and hits one off the apron. Love that. He also hit a diving drop kick.
A driving dop kick? What's that?
Zayn gets his knees up on a senton for a 2. Zayn knocks Dragunov off the apron with a haluva kick, but opts to bring him inside, or tries to bring him inside to finish the match. But then Bron Breakker, and I said earlier the security haven't done a very good job of stopping him, but the speed with which you saw him and then you saw him immediately get around the ring, I've seen it 5 times already now. It's still jaw-dropping.
He's like, he had so much momentum that he practically fell over as he was hitting the spear, but I didn't care.
I thought he was going to clip the side of the ring as he was turning the corner. But no, they're both there. Zayn gets out of the way, so Dragunov takes the spear. DQ, obviously. Zayn tries to fight back, but Breakker just cuts him in half with another spear and stands tall. I love Bron Breakker, but it was a weird ending to this show.
Weird ending to the show, and look, realistically, the match didn't deliver anywhere near to the level that I expected. When you look at the caliber of the talent involved, Yeah, there's some hard-hitting stuff in here, but I don't think it was particularly dramatic. It's like you look at this match graphic and you instantly just do the whole Leo DiCaprio TV match of the year contender here. What's going on? Why does this rarely happen on WWE TV? It doesn't seem like the match that the main roster audience is really especially into. Very few gems have been yielded from this Bron Breakker, Ricochet, Sami Zayn, Dragunov Intercontinental title picture. And you could extend that to when Gable was in it after the Montreal match. Just there's always like, I'm getting a little bit depressed now. So I'm thinking, that's for me. That's for daddy. Right? Something for daddy. Okay? You need something for daddy. That's for me. That's for boring, old, I quite like wrestling matches more than most things in wrestling person. I'm not getting them. I'm not getting them on Raw.
They feels like they're always holding off to the next match or the next pay-per-view or whatever.
Why don't you just jack it once again and then he can just, get it right back up.
On that note, let us know your thoughts on Monday Night Raw in the comment section or an X.
I'm 30 years.
What culture?
It's not that easy anymore.
At WhatCulture WWE. Watch, so you can follow both of us. You can follow Michael Sidgwick at
Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. Follow our brilliant producer at It's Adam Nicholas. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from for daily, we promise, wrestling podcasts.
We don't promise nothing.
Me and Sidge
we promise nothing.
Back later on today to preview NXT. But for now, this has been the Raw Review. My thanks to Michael Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.